everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Maria Goldberg, and I'm a product lead in Impact. And today we will talk about how Impact can help drive product adoption. Before we start, a few housekeeping slides. So this webinar is part of a monthly webinar series across an array of impact topics, such as platform health, product adoption, and value, that are hosted on a monthly basis. If you check the QR code that you see on your screen or visit the Impact community, you will be able to see the full catalog of upcoming events. You can also find there any of our prior webinars that were recorded, including this specific one, and posted to the Impact community page. Before we proceed, please notice that forward-looking statements might be shared in this webinar. However, most of the session is actually going to be a live demo of functionality that already is available to our Impact customers. During this session, you will have an opportunity to ask questions. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Send them as I speak. It's fine. I will do a pause after every section of the webinar, and I will try to take as many questions as possible, again, as time allows. Perfect. Now, for those of you who are familiar with ServiceNow Impact, in a nutshell, Impact is a unique ServiceNow product we launched over 2.5 years ago with one objective in mind: getting our customers to value as quickly as possible. We do this by combining AI-powered insights and human expertise. Through the combination of artificial and human intelligence, Impact benefits customers in 4 ways. First, by driving product adoption, which is the topic of this specific webinar. Many of you work within organizations that invest in significant amount of money in ServiceNow technology. We therefore want to make sure that you are adopting everything you are entitled to. By optimizing platform health is the second part of Impact. You can't really realize innovation to end users without a healthy platform. So Impact helps providing you insights and actions to improve platform performance. Another part of Impact is articulating and accelerating value. Using Lewis Carroll's quote from Alice in Wonderland, if you don't know where you want to go, then it doesn't really matter which path you take. So having a well-defined strategic vision, objectives and outcomes, as well as an ability to track progress along the way is a key to success. And this is also part of Impact. And then giving you access to the right expertise at the right time, which is again part, and helping to all the mentioned below 1 and 2 and 3 parts of Impact are also helpful as part of what Impact is offering. As previously mentioned, Impact is a unique product because it is a combination of digital experience, a product in a traditional sense, with an on-demand access to the best ServiceNow experts, which we call the Squad. The Squad works with Impact customers on various topics, from strategy to technical guidance. And as you will see in the demo, all the steps in the customer journey, together with Impact, are accompanied by a Squad input and support. As mentioned before, this webinar specifically is dedicated to driving product adoption. So driving product adoption with help with our accelerators, which is another part of Impact, is what we are going to cover today. Now, imagine this. You're getting closer to the end of your day, which is actually true, right? For the people in Europe, hello. The end of the day is coming. You're just about to log out of your computer and to go home and rest. And then you are getting a message on your phone with a pretty exhaustive list of products, grocery products that you need to go and buy in the supermarket. Well, you have to do what you have to do. So you are going to the supermarket instead of going home and resting. And you're spending the next hour buying all the products in the list. It takes you some time, but you are spot on. You purchased everything and you're coming home. You're tired, but you take everything and you put in your refrigerator. Great. You've done what is expected. That's great. A week later, and this is something that happens to me all the time. It would be interesting to know if you can relate to that. I open the refrigerator, or you would open a refrigerator, to find that a pretty big portion of the products that were purchased the week before were not really used and are very close to their expiration date. And what is even more annoying is that some of the products are actually started to go spoiled. Now, this is not fun. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had a refrigerator, a smart refrigerator, and hopefully that will happen pretty soon, a smart refrigerator that would keep track of everything that we purchased, will tell us when something is about to get closer to the expiration, right? And when I'm thinking about it, even maybe provide us some recipes with the products that are about to expire so that there will be zero waste. That would have been amazing, right? Now, while building such a refrigerator is a bit outside of the scope of this webinar, I would be happy to show you some of the functionality within Impact that can help you with your ServiceNow products to make sure that nothing that you have purchased goes into waste. Now, a quick question. Let me just figure out how I do the polls. How many of you are familiar with the products that your company has, if you are a ServiceNow customer? And if you're not a ServiceNow customer, use the same example from any of the other platforms that you guys are owning. So how many of you are fully aware of the ServiceNow products that your company has subscribed to? Perfect, I see some results coming in. And from what I see, majority is only partially aware of the products. And some are not even aware of the products at all. Well, good news, we also have some folks on the call who are fully aware of everything, which is great. 26% so far. 66, however, and this is a consistent reply I'm getting every time I'm talking to most of the customers, is that we are only partially aware of the products that were purchased as part of the ServiceNow contract. Perfect, I see the results are still changing, and actually they're changing towards the side of 67% are partially aware of the products, and around 23 fully aware, and 10% are not aware of it all. Okay, let me ask you another question then. I'm experimenting with the polls, so I hope you can see the results. Okay, those are the results. 67% partially aware of the products, 22 are fully aware, and 11 are not aware at all. So let me ask another question then. To what extent you are familiar with the ServiceNow applications available to your company as part of those products that are purchased? So for example, if you have ITSM, what does it really mean? What are all the applications within the ITSM that are available to you? Okay. I see a similar trend, even more steep towards partially aware. Okay, great. Perfect. Let me share the results. So 70% of you are only partially aware of the applications. 24, which is great, are fully aware of the applications, and 6% are not aware at all. Let me then show you some of the pretty cool tools that Impact has to offer that can help you get closer to I'm fully aware of the applications my company has purchased, as well as how to help get better adoption of those products within your company. So I'll grab the screen and I will start sharing. So give me 1 second. I'll change the screens. Give me one tiny sec, and I will open the Impact portal. Okay. I hope I'm sharing the right screen. Perfect. Let me open the landing page of Impact portal. And we'll start our demo. So, as I mentioned, Impact is twofold. It is a digital experience as well as a human-led squad experience where everything, every step along the way is being supported by your squad. You have self-service capabilities, but everything is being overseen and supported by the squad that is assigned to the Impact customers. So let's start. The first thing that I ask is how many of you are aware of all the products that your company has purchased or subscribed to as part of the ServiceNow contract. So the first thing that I can show you is the basic, easiest way of seeing what are all those products, right? A starting point. If you are navigating in Impact to the product adoption section, under subscriptions, if I click on subscriptions, you will see a page that shows you all the products that you are subscribed to as part of your ServiceNow contract. Everything from all the instances, if you have one instance or many instances, you will see everything in one view. You will see the amount that was purchased, the start, the end dates, the name of the product. If there are any secondary meters that are part of the contract, you will see them as well. Now, if you click on any of those products, you will get a breakdown by application. You will see a full list of applications that comprise this product. Those are the applications that you are entitled to use. Now, you can further on click on any of those applications to get an explanation of what it is, because some might seem obvious, whereas others might be totally unclear. So instead of going to an external system, such as product documentation or communities or anywhere else, we bring to you the description of this product, of this application, so it would be easier for you to understand what exactly this application is. And then we also provide curated resources to actually help you start adopting those products. Those could be release notes, trainings, now create content, and so forth. So this is the first part. I'll take a second for questions, because this is the first, though relatively basic, but a first functionality that I want you to be aware of within Impact. Okay, I'll take a look at the questions and see if we have any. A question is, are the included capability breakdown provided to organizations that don't subscribe to Impact? So this is explicitly an Impact product that we are showing and making available to Impact customers. The benefit of this experience is that it brings all the products from all across the instances that you would have. However, within the product itself, within the platform itself, you have a functionality called subscription management. It gives you a view of subscriptions specific to that instance. So if you go to your subscriptions management module within Admin Center on the platform, you would see a specific to that instance list of subscriptions. And from there, you would be able to do activities such as allocations. So that was a question from Louise. Perfect. Great. I don't see how can we access this Impact portal. So Impact portal is available to Impact customers. Impact customers will open Impact portal by typing impact.servicenow.com, and this is where the portal would be accessible to them. They would have access to everything that I'm sharing and demoing. Great. I don't see any more questions, so I'll move on. And please bring those questions on. It makes the webinar much more interesting. Perfect. So now that we know what are all the products that are available to me, what are the applications that are available to me, I'll show you the next tool that I would want you to start using, or to be aware of at least. It's called Capabilities Maps. So what is Capabilities Maps? It is the list of the applications you are entitled to that you have seen previously in your subscription management, but with a different flavor to it. It shows you all the applications with the status, usage status. This allows you to easily see how well you are leveraging everything that you have purchased. From the top of the screen, you can easily see that this customer has 55 applications, and it's a demo environment. Usually, for many customers, the numbers are much bigger, so much more difficult to track. So having such an overview is usually very helpful. You can see that while 15 applications are in use, 17 are not in use. Why are they not in use? Would be something that I would want to understand as a platform owner, for example. Is it because I was not aware of them? Is it because I really don't have a need in them, which is also an option? Or is it because I don't know how to start using them? As I mentioned before, all the activities within Impact are supported by a squad, experts that are working with the customers, assigned to each of the customers, and support them through every step within the Impact. So one of the things that they would be doing while you are working with the capability map is reviewing your objectives and goals. Now, you might want to join, you would want to join a webinar that is happening, I think either next month or the months after, about value and how to define value and articulate and measure. Why am I mentioning it? Because this is part of the process our Impact customers are usually doing. They would define the objectives and outcomes that they would want to achieve. After they define the objectives and the outcomes, the squad, knowing what is that the customers want to achieve, would be able to recommend applications that would support those objectives and goals. So as you can see here, change management, continual improvement management, incident management, and a few other applications were explicitly recommended to this specific customer that I'm demoing, to me, Emily Gutierrez, because they are supporting the goal that I want to achieve. Now, this is also a self-service tool in a way that I can go and manage any of the statuses to a different status. So for example, I see that an application contract management is currently not in use, but I know that I am planning to start using it. So I'll change the status to planning. This way, either my leadership or even myself, I would have a clear up-to-date view at any given moment of all the applications, their status, and what is my planning forward, okay? Again, when I click on any of the applications, I would get a description, I would get resources that were curated for me, and then if relevant, in this case, there are no notes, but if relevant, my squad or I can also add some of the notes for myself. For example, in this capability, what are the things that I want to concentrate on? Now, one of the things that I see here is that virtual agent is something that I start using. But as Emily Gutierrez, I also realized that I don't really know how to get the most out of my virtual agent. Now, one of the cool things that Impact allows is accelerators. Now, before I move into the accelerators, I want to give a few minutes for questions about the capability map. To recap, it brings all the applications that are part of my subscriptions. And then my squad will work with me based on my objectives and recommend applications that are relevant for me. I can get resources that will help me with the adoption of those applications. I can manage the different statuses, keeping the status of all the applications up to date. And many of our customers, what they're doing, instead of managing decks and presentations of all the applications and where they're going with them, they started, since we released this functionality, to just take print screens of this and put into the decks. So instead of managing a different source, they're just taking those print screens and putting in the deck. And I've actually heard from quite a few customers then in the presentations to the leaders, instead of having decks, they're just going to this tool and showing the status using the live tool within Impact, which is even better because even in the meeting, they can go and update any of the statuses if needed. Okay, so I'll take the questions now. How are those applications determined as recommended? So as I mentioned, the recommendations are coming from the squad. The squad understands your business because they are working with you. They meet with you on a regular basis and they understand what is it that you are trying to achieve. As a result of that, they would know which of the applications are recommended, which of those applications are useful and of most value to you. And based on that, they will recommend it for you. Are the product adoption dashboards scoped to show only products our organization is entitled to? Great question. No. As part of the capability map, we actually allow to bring in all applications, not just the applications you are entitled to. They are in most part hidden. I'll show you in a second how to access the hidden view of the capability maps, because if we were to bring everything to the main view of the capability map, it will be a lot. We have over 1,000 of applications. So if we were to show everything licensed applications as well as not licensed, that would be a mental load and would not be very helpful. So we are by default showing only the applications that you're licensed to. However, you, as well as your squad, if you show interest in a specific application that you are not yet licensed, but maybe planning in the future, they can bring in, for example, this application, Service Operations Workspace ITSM, is an application that is currently not available to Emily Gutierrez. As you can see, it is grayed out and it says unavailable. The reason we are showing it here, because this application was unhidden from a bulk of other applications that are kind of behind the scenes in this view. I'll show you in a second how you can access all those applications that are hidden. So in this specific use case, to get to show this application on this view, what either the squad or the customer, Emily, has done, they went to the upper part of this capability map and they checked show hidden, yes. So basically, I am now bringing in all applications that are hidden. Now, this is a demo environment, and so it only shows one. In a normal capability map, and you can go and check it with your capability map if you're an Impact customer, you will see a huge long list of all the applications you are not licensed to. And potentially some of the applications that either you or your squad did decide to hide because you are not interested in seeing it in your main view. So in this specific use case, Employee Center is hidden. Let's say I am interested in this application to be part of my main capability map. I can check it and click on Unhide. The moment I do that, I will go back to my non-hidden view, and I will see that the application Employee Center is now visible as part of my main capability map. And if at any point I decide that I am actually not interested in seeing some of the applications, let's say this Employee Center, Flow Designer, Mobile, Reporting, I decide to hide them, I will click on Hide, and they will be removed from the main view. This way, both the squad and you as customers, users, have control of what to display in your capability map. So you have a full control of deciding what to display, what to hide, what to bring, whether those are unentitled capabilities, non-licensed one, or licensed. Okay. I'll see if there are any more questions. I see that Tor mentioned that I cannot access Impact ServiceNow. Please see that it is service-now.com and not just ServiceNow as one word. That will solve your problem. Is there a plan to associate plugins? Yes, definitely. It is on our roadmap to start getting more granular with the capabilities that we are showing. One of the things that we want to start showing is the plugins that are associated to a specific application, as well as the features, the key features associated with the applications. So definitely on our roadmap, and we are working towards that. Okay, perfect. Akansh, I will need your help. There are a lot of questions. So if you can send me a few to answer, I will take them also at the end of the webinar. So out of the looking at the time, I'll move to the next functionality. The next one is, so again, just recapping. So we have this list of capabilities that we curated, our squad reviewed with us, recommended the applications, myself as Emily Gutierrez, or the squad added some notes recommending specific areas. And now let's assume I want to start using Virtual Agent, but I don't really know where to start. I would go into the Accelerate catalog, and let me show you what Accelerator catalog is. Accelerator catalog is a fixed scope offering that will allow me to work with my squad and get a specific predefined engagement around a specific subject. There are three types of accelerators: architecture-related, strategy-related, and technical. So we were talking about Virtual Agent, and me as a customer, I'm interested to see how Impact can help me with my Virtual Agent adoption. I'm typing in Virtual Agent, and what I will see is all the accelerators that are related to Virtual Agent. Because I'm just starting with the Virtual Agent, I would probably be interested in one that is Jumpstart Your Virtual Agent. Let me click it. And well, it is also recommended for me. Great. I would see the details for that specific accelerator. I will see that this engagement will take 30 days. During that 30 days, I will gain insights into the benefits of using Virtual Agent. I will understand how to work with it, what are the necessary steps to start working with that. I will get reports, and I'll get into the technicalities of starting working with that. That's great. I'm definitely interested. I will click on Get Started. And once I click the Get Started button, my squad will get a notification and they will initiate an engagement with me where I would be guided through this accelerator. So when you have time, I highly recommend you, if you're an Impact customer, going into the accelerator catalog and exploring the different accelerators that are available to you. We also have a recommended tab that will show you all the accelerators that are recommended specifically for you. Okay, so definitely take benefit of this great functionality, or great, what is a better word, feature within Impact, because it is great and you would be guided step by step through any of the processes that you want to achieve by using the accelerators. And there are many of them. There are around 70 accelerators on different topics, from strategy to architecture and technical, as I mentioned, and we are going towards 100 by the end of the year. Okay, so now that I know my applications and I also know how specifically start using some of them, let me show you another cool tool that will get everything together, bind everything together. This is called Product Adoption Roadmap. So after knowing what are all my applications and what they are, because I read the description, the documentation, the content that is associated to those applications, now it's time to actually plan my implementation, my adoption sequence. This is a tool to use. It's called Product Adoption Roadmap. The Product Adoption Roadmap is something that your squad would create for you based on your objectives. So again, your squad knows what is it that you are trying to achieve, and they will create a sequenced order in which you would want to implement your applications. So this specific one was created for Emily Gutierrez because she's interested in, because her company is entitled to ITSM product. So an IT product adoption roadmap was created for her. And all the applications that are of value to her and her organization are organized in a foundation crawl, walk, run order. We can see that incident management, virtual agent, knowledge management are part of basic phase of the foundations. Other applications are part of crawl, walk, and run. Now, as you know, an application is not necessarily implemented in one phase. For example, knowledge management takes way more than just one turn on of a plugin. It has a lot of functionality. It has a lot of features. So where do I start? This is also something that the squad would be working with you and helping. In this specific case, within the notes, the squad recommended to start with article templates. Whereas in phase crawl, the same application, the recommendation is to look at knowledge blocks. So you can use the same application in several phases. The features will be different. The emphasis on implementation might be different, but you can use the same application in several phases. Okay. This tool, while created initially by your squad, can be edited and used as a full self-service by customers. So me, as Emily Gutierrez, a customer, platform owner, I will click on Edit Roadmap, and I will get into the editing mode. Once I'm within the editing mode, I can modify anything I want. I can change the titles, I can change the description, I can change the order of the applications or add any application I would want. For example, let me add AI search. You're all familiar probably with the slash bucket experience. So AI search, let me add it to the top. And you will see that AI shows in here. I can add phases if I want to. I can remove phases if I want to. Basically, I can adjust the initially suggested product adoption roadmap by my squad to any of my needs. We also allow to create as many product adoption roadmaps as required. So you're not limited to one. You can create one for ITSM and another one for CSM, or you can create one for a specific business objective and another one for another business objective, or you can use a product adoption roadmap for a specific quarter by quarter plan. Any way you would want to use it, you can. Okay. So now that I have my okay, I'll take a stop. I'll take a pause for a second and take a look at the questions.
Maria, most of the questions are around the login. They're not able to access the link, or some people are able to access it, but their usual ID password doesn't work.
I see. Okay. So if you're Impact customers, you will be able to access the link. And let me just post the Impact link into the chat so that everyone would have access. Okay, just to make sure that we have the right link. Okay. And then if you have a challenge accessing, even though you are an Impact customer, please open an incident or talk to your squad representative so that they will help you with the login to the Impact portal. If you're an Impact customer, you definitely should have access to the Impact portal. It's the basics. Okay. What are the different levels of Impact? I'm assuming the question is around the packages that we are selling. So we have three basic packages: guided, advanced, and total. And from the May release, by the way, guided, advanced, and total are kind of similar to the standard Pro and Enterprise that we have for other products such as ITSM, HR. So guided, advanced, and total. And then in May, we also released add-on SKUs. So you can be a guided customer and buy specific add-ons such as specific access to accelerators or specific access to some of the features that you might not be necessarily entitled as part of your basic package. What does it mean being an Impact customer? Is exactly what I mentioned. It means being entitled to one of the packages, either guided, advanced, or total. Okay. How often are those roadmaps updated by the squad? So they are updated quarterly, usually, and based on the discussion that you are having with a customer. With a customer, they're based on the discussion the squad is having with the customer. So in some cases, the roadmap doesn't require an update quarterly, but if the priorities change, or if there was an additional purchase of a product, a roadmap would get updated. Along with that, as I mentioned, it is also a self-service tool that allows you to get it updated at any given moment. So you can open the Impact portal, log into it, and in a second, you would be able to change it as much as you want. So quarterly, the squad would be platform architects are updating it, but you can also do it on a more often basis. Okay. All my capabilities are listed as needs validation. Do I need to do something for it to filter to what I have? So this is an interesting situation. We get the data of what is in use versus what is not in use based on the definitions of usage that we are managing in the system. Now, not all the applications would have a definition of usage. For those that are having a definition of usage, we would be able to get the information from the instance and define whether an application is in usage versus not in usage. in use versus not in use. Currently, the subset of applications that has the ability to define automatically the in-use status is limited to a subset of applications. As you might have heard, Impact is also moving into the instance. And once we move into the instance, we would be able to get even more of those definitions. And then we'll show a bigger and broader list of applications where we can show and determine your usage status. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. This is connected to the how usage is determined. So for the applications that have definition of usage, there is a formula that defines what is considered usage. For example, for incidents, it would be a number of incidents beyond a specific threshold, just making an example. For another application, it would be a different formula that defines usage. One of the things that we are, and this is a great question because I'm being asked the same question a lot. To address this question, one of the features that we are planning for the near future is to not only show what is in use and what is not in use, but also how much in use it is. So once you will have a flyout, once you will open a flyout and you will see the description, you will also see a progress, month by month progress for a specific usage. So for example, for incident management, we will be able to show the number of incidents created month by month. So this way you would not only see whether you are using an application or not using an application, but also how much you are using it. Okay, perfect. Let's see other questions. Okay. Great. So let's get back to our demo and get to the last part. So, and we are almost at time. So the last part is an interesting one. Actually, before that, just to mention something small, there is almost nothing. It's an interesting one to show. If I open my activity center and go into all recommendations, I would be able to see all different recommendations that are curated and recommended for me. Those are AI generated ones and will help me with anything that I would want to achieve, either because the squad is either because you set up your specific objectives, or because we know that customers that are similar to you have consumed that and it was beneficial for them. So it might be trainings, accelerators, and other different recommendations. So you might want to take a look at the recommendations in the recommendations page. Now, getting back to product adoption area. Now that you know the sequence of the different applications and how you want to start adopting them, let's assume half a year later, you have a pretty big meeting with your leadership, and the leadership wants to see whether the decisions that you made, whether the order of implementation and the applications that you decided to implement were indeed the right decisions, and whether you have managed to realize the value that you were expected to realize. To do that, you would open your value journey tab, and you'll go to a business value section. Within the business value section, you would see the different business reports that are created for you. I'm mainly interested in this specific use case in ITSM because I was working on the ITSM products, and I would be able to see that the value realized is 6.24 million. Now, I'm assuming that's not enough to just show a number. You would want to see how this number was calculated. So it was calculated for this specific year, for the past specific year compared to a year before that. I can click on view, and it will show me a breakdown of the different objectives that I set up for myself as part of the definition of my value as value. I can see that I had the objective of enable business velocity, increase employee productivity, and decommission legacy system costs. I can see that increase employee productivity provided me with 2.14 million, while the expectation was 236K. Again, if I want to get more information about it, I can click in, and it will give me the breakdown of the outcomes that I was tracking. I can see the different outcomes, for example, reduced disruption from incidents. And I can see that the average time to close a request got reduced. And as a result, I managed to get more value than I even expected in my pre-sales motion. So this is a nice tool. It's not a nice, it's a great tool to have when you are coming to a meeting with your leadership. Because as you probably all know, that just saying, hey, I want to implement this functionality is not enough. You need to also provide the business justification. And then after you have finished the adoption or the implementation, you also need to show that really your decisions that you made were the right ones and that you actually managed to realize value that you promised. So this kind of ties the entire circle from understanding what are all the capabilities, all the products that you have purchased as part of your ServiceNow contract, understanding what are all the applications that are part of your contract and what exactly is that you are recommended to use out of everything that you have. What is the areas you would rather put your efforts in? Where is that you would want to concentrate your effort on? And then what is the order in which I should do the adoption of those applications? And then how can I actually show that whatever the decisions that I made were indeed justified? So this concludes